Hey guys! There are so many things, but I feel like how do I say this? Not expected for someone like me to go into deep reflections about life and all that shit. I'm here to talk about why I quit social media. When I say social media, I don't involve YouTube in it because I feel like YouTube is a very different type of social media. YouTube is a place I go when I want to rest, when I just want to have fun. You know, it's a place where I learn a lot. It's a place that uplifts me more than anything. While other social media like Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat can be very, very toxic. And if you guys watched my video before going into 2022, I mentioned that I deleted all social media. The reason I'm making this video now is a couple things. The other day, I downloaded Instagram again, and I deleted it again after 1 hour. I was talking to someone really close to me last night, and I shared with them how much social media has changed my life. And it's changed in such a personal and fulfilling way that it's so hard to transmit to someone who has never deleted social media. I feel like in today's society, that is the norm. The norm is to have a social media account. Because that's like the only way you can stay current, and that's the only way you can communicate with people. I didn't talk to them in a hot second. We only talk about maybe once a month or so. And I was telling them how much deleting social media has changed my life for the better, and how slow my life has gotten. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, you know, I don't want to live slowly. Like, that's not how I want to live, which is fine. But I did not know how fast I was living my life with social media. I'll explain. So, when I was about 12, I downloaded Snapchat and Instagram. My mom was always kind of against it. She never really wanted me to have social media. And so it was like kind of a scary thing for me to have, because there was kind of this like negative connotation with it. And I knew that if my mom would find out, she would be how do you say, very, very angry with me. But then obviously I grew older and I started telling people, and I started being more open about it and being like, yeah, I do have social media, and it wasn't such a bad thing anymore. My mom found out and she made an Instagram so she could follow me, so she could, you know, stalk me or whatever. And then when I hit about 15 years old, I remember I posted this picture of myself, and it was when I was in my modeling years, and I posted this picture where you could see my shoulders, just my shoulders, and someone commented that I was a thought and that I was a slut and I was a whore. And I remember it freaking me out, and it was the first time that I kind of had a panic attack because of social media, and I immediately deleted the picture. I deleted like other pictures too off my account where I was a little too revealed because I didn't want this person commenting these things. Anyway, so I freaked out. Ever since then, every time I post a picture, I asked other people to make sure it was okay, to make sure I looked good, to just make sure it was appropriate for me to post. But not only appropriate in the sense of, you know, sexually, but also appropriate in the sense that I look presentable and that I look like the best version of myself, which is so fucked up, but at the same time, that's what social media is. Social media is a reflection of everyone's peak in life, which is why when someone doesn't show that side and is vulnerable on social media, it's a big thing. And that's why usually people are really proud of them, because you're putting this, you know, this hard / worst time of your life on social media in an overflowing amount of people who are putting their best selves out there, and not even their best selves, but their fake selves for a good portion of them. Then came the time where I got into uni and I started making friends over social media before I got to London so that I could know people. It was weird because I had this kind of version of them in my head, and then I met them in real life. And I mean, they're great and I love them, but so not what I expected them to be. When I moved to London, I mean, fuck, I like grew so much. It was weird because in the moment I didn't really feel like I was going through it. I didn't really feel like I was sad or whatever. Like, I didn't have that many friends, to be honest, because most of the people I met on social media were from different programs, and I wouldn't see them a lot, and some I saw once and then never saw again. It was weird, and I only really had 1 or 2 friends that I would hang out with. Looking back now, you can't just stick with 2 people when you're in this new city. Like, oh my god, there's so many different people. You have to meet different people. I mean, you don't have to, but why did I come here if not to meet different people and from different cultures? And that was one of the things that made me really want to come here, was to meet all these different type of people, and why London is so reputed to have all these different types of cultures. So I started realizing many things. First of all, that I was in this new city. A lot of the time I spent was indoor on TikTok. So fucked. Realizing how much I needed to go out and explore London, because the opportunity I have to be here is insane. And so I started going out, and I started really observing my surroundings. I remember I was going through kind of like a weird time, like in November. I decided to go to Brixton. I remember sitting there and reading my book and journaling and writing. And I remember looking up, and I remember feeling so at peace and full and grateful. And I remember looking up around me and seeing everyone around me with someone else, and they're all on their phones. And it was insane to me that these people that are sitting with their friends or their families, you know, having lunch on their phones, are probably less happy than me sitting here alone, journaling and reading. That trip really, really changed, I don't say my life, but it kind of did. It kind of shifted my whole view on how I perceive life. After that trip, quickly came winter break, and I went home for a bit. And I reconnected with family, and I tried really hard not to go on my phone, but I found it really hard because when something is in front of you, it's tempting. So the only way to get rid of that temptation is to just get rid of it. So when I came home after the break, I got COVID, and I was stuck inside for a long period of time. And I was stuck inside for New Year's. So New Year's came around, and that day, 31st of December, I remember I was like, you know what? I'm just going to delete social media. I don't care enough anymore to make this impression of what my life is like. I deleted everything, even TikTok, which I would spend hours on, and I mean hours. But when I deleted everything, I was bored at first. I won't lie. I was bored. I was like, what do I do with my life now? Which I realized was so bad. Because it's like, what? Now we're conditioned to think that we can't live without our phones when the inverse is true. We weren't made to have phones in the first place. So, you know, I'm not going to download Instagram again just because I'm bored and make myself feel bad. So I took up activities, hobbies. I figured out so much about me, so much. And I literally went through this epiphany, and I remember I was in line at a grocery store once, a couple months ago, like maybe 2 months ago. And usually I would go on my phone, right? But no, I couldn't because I didn't have social media. It was the first couple of days of it. And I was in line, and I remember having an intrusive thought, and I remember going like this, and I was like, I do that all the time, but I never noticed before that I did that. And if you don't know, it's like when you don't want something bad to happen, you knock on wood, and if you don't have wood, you knock on your head. Anyway, and so I realized that when I have an intrusive thought, my brain automatically thinks either touch wood or touch your head so that it won't happen. And so I would, every time I have an intrusive thought, I go like this. Like, it's like we lose sense of just the little things that we do when we have something so big like social media. You just get to know yourself a lot. And it's kind of cute. It's like, oh wow, I'm kind of like my own person, you know? We forget that we are sometimes. The other day, I downloaded Instagram again because I was like, you know, it's been 2 months now. I think I'm ready to go back. Like, I've done a lot of self-exploration and I think I'm ready. And I downloaded Instagram and I posted a picture that I really, really wanted to post on Instagram that I took of my friend. I remember having Instagram for about an hour. Every time I opened my phone, I would go on Instagram. During that 1 hour, I downloaded Instagram again. I felt this overflow of information over me. And I was looking at everyone live their lives. And I was absorbing all this information. And I fucking panicked. I literally can't do this. I found myself looking at people's lives and I was like, why does anyone care? First of all, why do I care? Second of all. And third of all, why am I feeling this overwhelming sense of panic? And I was like, I can't even keep up with what's going on my phone right now. This is just so much information. And I freaked out and I deleted Instagram after an hour. I remember feeling so off that night. And I was like, why did I even do that? And I started thinking about it. I was like, so I deleted Instagram because I thought that I was ready, that I had discovered myself enough from these 2 months of social media. What? In 2 months you discovered yourself? I'm sorry, but first of all, you're 18, almost 19 years old. You cannot have discovered a 19-year-old person in 2 months. You don't know a person in 2 months. You know them through their lifetime. So figuring yourself out and feeling like you've done enough self-resourcing or whatever in 2 months, that's a lie. Self-resourcing is unlimited. You will always learn more about yourself. Just like you will always learn more about your friend. Just like you will always learn more about anything. The fact that I just thought I was ready to go back into this swarm of people sharing their lives on this. Look how stupid this looks. Doesn't this look so stupid? It's a rectangle. And we tap on this screen, on this glass screen, for like some people like 12 hours a day. Think of that. Like, think of that. All you do is tap on glass. If your excuse to not deleting social media is like, I can't do it because that's the way I communicate with people, like, fuck that. Someone really wanted to communicate with you, they would communicate with you on WhatsApp or iMessage. It wouldn't need to be through social media. And if you're like, yeah, but like, I also talk to a lot of people I don't really know, then get their phone number. And if it's literally just people that answer your story and you answer their story, that is not a relationship. They don't know you, and you do not know them just by doing that. And you certainly do not know people just by looking at what they post and liking what they post. So don't think you're gonna lose contact with the world or whatever. No, if anything, you're gonna get closer to the world. You're gonna get closer to the people that love you. You're gonna get closer to the people that surround you. You're gonna be less distracted. You're gonna figure out who your real friends are. You're gonna figure out who the real people that actually care about you in your life are. You're gonna figure out so much more than you're gonna figure out if you keep tapping on that glass screen for 8 hours a day. Trust me. Are you worried you're gonna lose all your followers? Are you worried that people are gonna wonder where you've been? Let me be honest. How do I put this? No one gives a shit. Delete it. Tell me how you feel. Bye!